Hi, welcome to Green Ink Live. I'm Cassie Premo Steele, a poet, novelist, environmental writer, and trauma scholar. Each week in June, I have been focusing on a different contemporary poet and a principle of mindfulness. Green ink is primarily for people who are interested in the intersectionality between writing and identity and environmentalism. And each Wednesday in June, I've been opening up my Green Ink Lives, which is normally for paid subscribers, to everyone because we are living through hard times. And the lessons that we can learn and practice through these mindfulness principles and the deep healing, transformative power that we can experience through the work of these contemporary poets can be very helpful for wherever we're living, whatever we're doing, whoever we are, and however these hard times are hitting us. This week, we will be focusing on one of my favorite philosopher poets in the whole world, Gloria Anzaldúa's seminal book, Borderlands La Frontera, The New Mestiza, was part of the scholarly work that I did, which was the book We Heal from Memory that came out from Palgrave Macmillan in 1999. And that book focused on the poetry of Anne Sexton, Audre Lorde, and Gloria Anzaldúa, and the poetry of witness, how poetry allows us to witness from and heal from individual and collective traumatic histories. I've chosen Anzaldúa for our last week here in June. You can scroll back on Substack and look at the other classes that we've done with other poets. But I've kind of saved the best for last right now because so much of what she said 30 years ago now is more prescient and pressing than ever. Anzaldúa was born at the base of the Rio Grande between Texas and Mexico. The reason I'm saying between is that she called it una herida abierta, which is an open wound. What many people don't know is that the border between the US and Mexico moved over people back and forth throughout the history of what is now the contemporary US. And after the Mexican War ended, the US gained what would become 11 of the Southwest and Western states, including Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, Utah, Colorado. Many of the states that now have significant Latinx populations. And one of the things I think that can be very helpful in connecting poetry to the true history of what's happening here in the United States is understanding the traumatic nature of that history. That having been said, I invite you to join me on Saturday for my class called Poetry Healing. It is given through the Loft Literary Center, and you can look on other Substack posts that I've written about. You can also go to my website, which is just my name, CassiePremoSteele.com, or look for the link on the Loft Literary Center site as well. In a 3-hour class on Saturday, which will be live and interactive, we will be looking at the poetry of the poets that we have talked about this month, including Gloria Anzaldúa, as well as Ocean Vuong, Yusef Komunyakaa, Ellen Bass, Anne Sexton, Joy Harjo, and Audre Lorde. So today we'll focus on Anzaldúa. What did Anzaldúa say to us a generation ago that we are only now able to hear? I'm going to start by sharing a passage with you from the essay portion of the book. The book is a hybrid, uh, way before hybrid was cool and hip and popular. The first half of the book are philosophical, historical essays, and the second half is poetry. This is from the essay called La Conciencia de la Mestiza, Towards a New Consciousness. And the section is called By Your True Faces, We Will Know You. Let's take a deep breath in. We've been listening for a while. Check in with your body, see if you need to wiggle and move a bit before listening to these few paragraphs. The dominant white culture is killing us slowly with its ignorance. By taking away our self-determination, it has made us weak and empty. As a people, we have resisted and we have taken expedient positions, but we have never been allowed to develop unencumbered. We have never been allowed to be fully ourselves. The whites in power want us people of color to barricade ourselves behind our separate tribal walls so they can pick us off one at a time with their hidden weapons, so they can whitewash and distort history. Ignorance splits people, creates prejudices. A misinformed people is a subjugated people. Before the Chicano and the undocumented worker and the Mexican from the other side can come together, before the Chicano can have unity with Native Americans and other groups, we need to know the history of their struggle, and they need to know ours. Our mothers, our sisters and brothers, the guys who hang out on our street corners, the children in the playgrounds, each of us must know our Indian heritage, our Afro-mestizaje, our history of resistance. To the immigrant Mexicano and the recent arrivals, we must teach our history. The 80 million Mexicanos and the Latinos from Central and South America must know of our struggles. Each one of us must know basic facts about Nicaragua, Chile, and the rest of Latin America. The Latinoist movement, Chicanos, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, and other Spanish-speaking people working together to combat racial discrimination in the marketplace, is good, but it is not enough. Other than a common culture, we will have nothing to hold us together. We need to meet on broader communal ground. The struggle is inner. Chicano, Indio, American Indian, Mojado, Mexicano, immigrant Latino, Anglo in power, working class Anglo, Black, Asian. Our psyches resemble the borderlands and are populated by the same people. The struggle has always been inner and is played out in the outer terrains. Awareness of our situation must come before inner changes, which in turn come before changes in society. Nothing happens in the real world unless it first happens in the images in our heads. Borderlands, La Frontera. So it's very easy to stay on the social, political side of the spectrum and feel fear, feel anger, feel a need for resistance, feel a need for fighting back. But what Anzaldúa is saying is that the borderlands that we have assigned to a geographical region between the US and Mexico and Latin America is inside us, inside our history, inside our nation, inside our communities, and inside our bodies. The struggle is inner, she says. And this is why I combine the poetry with the practice of mindfulness principles. Today, we are looking at the principle of patience. It's not very popular. We want everything now. And part of that is because we have been subjugated by a dominant culture that, through technological and media innovations, can deliver information to us very, very quickly. But this is not always healthy, and it cuts off the possibility for discernment. Discernment comes from slowness, from the depth of feeling, and from having the patience to come to a deeper understanding. The struggle is inner, Anzaldúa writes. We can feel this struggle within ourselves, this binary duality, us versus them, attempt to survive by making the other the enemy. And we have parts of ourselves internally that we shut away, that we hide, that we are ashamed of. And we make those parts our enemy as well. Peace does not come from violence. And if our goal is peace and a diverse, inclusive, loving, accepting community, then we must begin within by embracing and including all the diverse parts of ourselves. Let's practice the mindfulness principle of patience through a meditation now. So again, tend to your body. See if you need to maybe lie down for this. If you haven't turned off the notifications on your phone or device, you might want to do that just for the next 5 or so minutes as we give our bodies, minds, and spirits time to relax, let go, feel that acceptance, practice that patience. As you settle into a comfortable position, begin by taking a nurturing breath in and feel the belly rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. This belly breathing is what we came into the world as babies doing, feeling the belly expand as we take air in and fall and relax as we exhale and let air out. And breathing in this way sends a signal to the autonomic nervous system that it's okay for the muscles to relax and loosen and let go, and for the heart rate to slow. All the organs of the body to regulate and function more smoothly, and the blood pressure to lower. In your mind's eye, begin to picture a beautiful lake See the sparkling light of the sun dancing on the surface of the lake. The water is pure and crystal clear, and the temperature is just perfect. Imagine yourself lying back on the water so that you are floating securely and safely. Finding yourself so light and buoyant that you float effortlessly and comfortably on the surface. Your mind is very quiet and peaceful. Thoughts may come in and attempt to capture your attention now and then, but they don't need to linger. You can simply allow them to drift away and bring your attention back, feeling your body floating on the surface of the water. You are nested in the clean, clear water and feel as though you are a part of it. The sky above is clear and bright and blue. You are alone in peaceful solitude in this quiet, still pool of clear aquamarine. The beauty is breathtaking. Lie there and feel the peace. Experience the tranquility. And then begin to feel the water permeating your being. Like a sponge, you are absorbing the water and you feel emerging with it. This is a safe feeling as you comfortably dissolve into the water. Your earthly being becoming liquid and more disappearing from sight. The warmth of the sun is soothing and very comfortable as you begin to feel light, very light as though you are rising. The sun, you realize, is evaporating the water that contains your being. You are turning into vapor as you rise high above the earth. The feeling is warm and safe and secure as you realize you are part now of a beautiful cloud hovering in the brilliant blue sky, weightless, floating on air. As you look directly below, you see the place you call home. You see it from a distance in its beauty and its unity, without artificial borders. The mountains and the desert the rivers, the farmland, the cities, the rolling hills and the flatlands, the high peaks of the mountains and the low watery swamps, all one land, all one planet. And as you desire to return to that planet with this new sense of its beauty and unity in its diversity, you become a gentle rain that falls in slow motion. It feels as if it will take hours to reach the ground as you descend gracefully. Your being consists of tiny raindrops, and you are mixed together with millions of other raindrops. Each tiny raindrop is the result of a loving thought from every person who ever lived in the world. And these loving thoughts are joining with and becoming part of you. You are part of an infinite array of droplets that are indistinguishable from one another, as much a part of you as you are part of all the others. Eventually, a few of the drops touch the ground and splash into even smaller drops like a fine mist as they transform into the re-manifestation of your earthly being. And as you begin to gather back together, you behold how purified through patience your being has become in the process. Only good and pure droplets reunite with your being, and any feelings of insecurity, doubt, guilt, or fear are now washing away, flowing downstream, each one filled by loving thoughts as you accept yourself fully in the form of rain that takes you back to your material form. You feel rejuvenated and refreshed, alert and filled with joy. As you become aware of your body and the room in the present time again, you feel the presence of love all around you. Your entire being filled with love, made of love, an expression of perfect love, connected to the water and the air and fire and earth, all one being, beautiful in its variety, biodiversity, and unity. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, allowing gentle movement to bring your body back into the present. The last poem in Borderlands La Frontera is called Don't Give In, Chicanita. Anzaldúa wrote it for her niece, Missy, para Missy Anzaldúa. And I'll finish Green Ink Live today simply by reading this poem, and then I will suggest a writing prompt for you to do on your own. If you'd like to get in touch with me, feel free to use the contact page at my website, which is my name, CassiePremoSteele.com. I'd love to read your writing from today or hear any feedback that you have. And again, I hope that you will think about joining me on Saturday for poetry healing through the Loft Literary Center. There's information about that also on my website. Don't give in, chicanita. Don't give in, mi priatita. Tighten your belt, endure. Your lineage is ancient, your roots like those of the mesquite firmly planted, digging underground toward that current, the soul of Tierra Madre, your origin. Yes, mijita, your people were raised in Los Ranchos, here in the valley, near the Rio Grande. You descended from the first cowboy, the vaquero, right smack in the border, in the age before the gringo, when Texas was Mexico. Over in Los Ranchos de Vejere and Jesus Maria, Davila land. Strong women reared you. My sister, your mom, my mother, and I. And yes, they've taken our lands. Not even the cemetery is ours now, where they buried Don Urbano, your great great grandfather. Hard times like fodder we carry, with curved backs we walk. But they will never take that pride of being Mexicana, Chicana, Tejana, not our Indian woman's spirit. And when the gringos are gone, see how they kill one another. Here will be, like the horned toad and the lizard, relics of an earlier age, survivors of the first fire age, El Quinto Sol. Perhaps we'll be dying of hunger as usual, but we'll be members of a new species, skin tone between black and bronze, second eyelid under the first, with the power to look at the sun through naked eyes. Yes, in a few years or centuries, La Raza will rise up, tongue intact, carrying the best of all cultures, that sleeping serpent. Rebellion, revolution, evolution will spring up. Like old skin will fall the slave ways of obedience, acceptance, silence. Like serpent lightning will move, little woman. You'll see. The prompt I want to suggest comes from the line, hard times like fodder we carry. Fodder is the food that is given to farm animals such as sheep or cows. Hard times like fodder we carry. I invite you to write a poem of your own or journal in response to this question. How are these hard times that we are going through? Like food, like fodder, like nurturance for you and your people now. Thank you for joining me.